What's up, y'all? This your man Chingy representing FullDekk, and you know I got soul, right? Yeah.
Alright, Chingy, so last album, Success and Failure, came out in 2010. Just kind of bring us up to date with what you've been up to since then.
Last album. Actually, Success and Failure was not my last album. That was actually supposed to be a mixtape with all original music.
Right.
Because the deal, I did a situation with a certain person for that. He told me, advertised it as it was going to be a mixtape. And so, you know, it was some music that I had around that I wasn't even really doing nothing with. And, you know, it was a six-figure thing. So, you know, I decided to do it.
Cool.
And so they advertised it as an album when it wasn't originally on paper supposed to be an album. It was just kind of a mixtape with original music. Because that's what I had it as. It was my songs on top of other people's beats at first. But they changed it around and they made it an album, which it wasn't supposed to be an album. So I don't consider that a certified album from me, even though it was nice, I liked it, you know, and people took to it and liked it, but it was promoted all wrong. So just to clarify that and clear it up, it wasn't supposed to really be an album. It was more of an original mixtape. When I say, well, let's say EP.
Sure.
More of original EP. But other than that, well, speaking of albums, I do still have Jackpot, Powerball, and Hood Store. I Hate It, I Love It in stores right now. In case you want to go pick those up, those are my 4 studio albums off Capitol Records and Def Jam. 3 off Capitol Records, 1 off Def Jam. And since then, man, I've just been working. I've been grinding. Right now, I'm currently pushing a single, Doing the Most, and a single, Damn Girl, another single for me, produced by my little homeboy Swift from St. Louis. He's in Atlanta doing some work now, producing for a lot of big name artists as well. And those are the records I'm pushing, Doing the Most and Damn Girl. And currently, I'm just working on a lot of music. I got my homeboy MC, upcoming St. Louis artist that's dope. Me and him are working on a project. He performs with me. I got my homeboy MOD out of St. Louis. He's working on a project. And this is all FullDekk, you know, MC representing Rich City. And representing FullDekk, we do things together. And we're gonna be working on FullDekk Philosophy 2. That was a compilation album with St. Louis artists on it, as well as myself, you know, because I like to work with people that I surround myself with that's talented. And just working, man, you know, staying on the road, here and there, you know. Right now we are over here in Vancouver and some everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that I can stay busy, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fans and the people that support me, that's always been down with me from the beginning up until now, man. I really appreciate that from the heart. And just doing me, man, just having fun. Just right now, more independent than anything. So FullDekk is my record label, and so I'm just kind of really pushing that and trying to get that off the ground and working on new music, and just finna recreate the brand, the Chingy brand, man. You know, look forward to 2015 and 2016 and more years to come.
Right, and of course you mentioned you had a situation with Capitol, had a situation with Def Jam, so now of course you're doing everything independently. What's that transition been like, because you don't have that backing anymore? That
transition, not having that machine backing anymore, it can be difficult because you're doing everything yourself. I'm more involved in so many things now that when I was with the record labels, I didn't have to worry about. You know, I didn't have to worry about, you know, putting the video together. I didn't have to worry about putting these events together, TV, and just a lot of stuff. And now I have to worry about most of that stuff, and it could be a little, you know, weigh on your brain, weigh on your mind, and weigh on your everyday, you know, your everyday grind, because it's a lot when you got your hand into like everything. You got to make decisions about everything and attend to everything from the creativeness to the video, to the show, to just everything, the photo shoot, the look, everything, the image, and you know what I'm saying, and how you articulate yourself, period. So it's difficult, but I'm up for the task and I can handle it, because that's what I got in this business for, is to become more of an entrepreneur and not just an artist. You know, I don't never consider myself just an artist, because I mean, I am creative, I create, but I also am a great thinker. So, you know, I want to be more than an artist and be an entrepreneur at the same time. So, you know, being independent is nice, but sometimes it can get a little hectic when you don't, because the labels and everybody have those resources. They have those major resources that a lot of artists need. So at some point you do need a lot of the record labels, but you can make it on your terms by being independent and making some noise and doing your thing and having a name. You can make it on your terms. So it's it's do's and it's don'ts.
And I spoke to Bobby Valentino just a couple of weeks ago. He said one of the biggest challenges going independent is making sure that you maintain that fan base that's followed you. So for you, have you found that your fans have followed you since you left your situations?
One of the biggest challenges in being independent, I would agree with Bobby, maintaining that fan base can be difficult because when you're seen in a light, when you had a machine behind you, hearing you on the radio constantly, seeing these videos constantly, and let's keep in mind, I'm speaking of 04, 05, 06, and 07, and a lot of those years when you had the TRLs and the 106 and Parks and all of that, when people paid more attention to that, but now everything is kind of socially and on the internet. So when you go from being heard on the radio all the time, videos being sent on TV all the time, being on David Letterman's show, Jimmy Kimmel, you know, and a lot of those TV shows, to, you know, doing things a lot socially and just doing things socially. You got some people that don't really identify with the social world who still listen to the radio and listen to things like that, look at TV, so they wonder, like, where you at? So those fans, you know, it can be hard. I agree with Bobby, it can be hard to maintain that fan base, but you just got to keep working.
Right. And of course, you've had a lot of great records over the years. Your fun records obviously do a lot of damage on the charts, but I found that a lot of the fans have really followed you because of your R&B collaborations that you've done.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of fun, like you said, fun records. I'm into making records that, you know, put you in an enjoyable mind state and just having fun and good vibes and positivity. And my R&B records always reflect situations in my life that were real about dealing with women. So when you hear those records, it's always a real situation. That's why I think that's why those records come out so good, because they're realistic and intimate. Because in my life, when I'm dealing with women, that's how I am, sensitive and intimate with the women until they
Right, and just talk about the formula with those records and if that still works in today's industry, because R&B isn't really as prevalent as it used to be.
Do those records still work in this industry, the R&B records, that as far as what I came with? Well, when you're talking about a woman in a good way on a record, that's gonna work. Women love to be talked about. Women love to be talked about. In relationships, women love to talk and they love for you to listen. So when you're an artist and you're making music and you're talking about women in a good way, that's when they want to listen, because they love to be talked about. So those records are always going to work. And I got some more records in store just like that, that's super hot. And you know, when you look at the business and you see the people out there that make those type of records, it can be a lot of R&B dudes that really get away with those type of records. A lot of rappers or artists or whatever, rap artists, some of them don't get those records across the best. You got some that can, but you got some that just don't get those records across the best. And I happen to get those records across really good. But I think for me, it's pretty much, it ain't went nowhere.
And then as far as, you know, just to create a process behind your R&B collaborations, how involved were you with not just choosing the artists that you wanted to collaborate with, and even just the writing and the hooks and all that? How creative? Actually,
how involved I was with choosing the artists and the creativeness on the records, very much involved. The song I did with Janet Jackson, Just Me and You, I wanted her on that record. She actually called the studio to talk to me, which was one of the highlights of my whole career, because I mean, here I am in the studio working on some music, clowning around, and I get a call. They hit me like, Chingy, line 1, pick up the phone. I pick up the phone, hello, and then you got this soft voice, hello, Chingy. And then I'm like, who is this? She's like, it's Janet. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was Janet Jackson, and I'm like super happy. So she called to tell me that she loved the record and everything. So, you know, I really loved that she loved the record. And that was a process that I created. You know what I mean? And just like even with the song with R. Kelly on my second album, even with Snoop Dogg being on Holidae In and Ludacris, these are all things I wanted to happen. And you know, so that creative process was a lot of me.
Right.
When you see those records get created, you know what I mean? So that lets you know I know how to create a hit. And to say this as well, even before all those records would I collab with people. Right there was just me. That was the #1 record in the country. So that lets you know I don't need nobody to create a hit. I just, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
Now, would you say that those collaborations with those R&B artists, like talk about your background in R&B, was that something you were influenced by growing up as well?
My background in R&B, where I grew up in a household, I grew up in a family, both sides, my mom and daddy. I grew up listening to a lot of the older music, Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Isley Brothers, Wilson Pickett, James Brown, you know, a lot of the older music. Parliament, Funkadelic, Earth, Wind and Fire, like a lot of that. Nita Baker, Luther Vandross. I mean, this can go on and on. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was actually the person that made me want to start entertaining, period. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I'm Chingy right now is most likely because of Michael Jackson. And sometimes when you listen to my music, you can hear it. Because I always, when I stress, like when I say, like I say go, and I say go, or ho, and it's, you think of Michael Jackson, ho, and I have to take that into consideration that's probably, that comes out because of that. Right. You know? And so, that's what it is.
You do all these shows now, you're on tour, you know, what do the fans want to hear from Chingy? Do they want to hear the fun records, or do they want to hear the R&B collaborations that you do?
Well, these days I think what the fans want to hear from Chingy is Chingy being Chingy. Chingy changes with the time, but don't let the time change Chingy. And what I mean by that is the sound of today, I could take that sound and make it mine and be Chingy and still do that sound. You know, you got a lot of artists out here who follow trends. They not original. They're not trendsetters. They follow the trend. Well, from the first time that I came out, I was a trendsetter. And I go all across the world and you hear people saying, oh, say right there. Or, you know, that's trend-setting stuff. When you can go across the world and everybody knows you from a word that you came out with, and you just say different. And this is how I talk. And they know me from that. And they not just that word. They know me from a lot of my records too. It's classical records. You know, this is not the era I came out in was not a fad era. That's why I was so successful, because I was original. So with a lot of artists out here that like to follow behind people, I would have to say to those artists, be original, because that's what takes you to the top, and that's what gets you success. When you invent something instead of following something, invent.
That's all that I got for you. Anything you'd like to add?
Hit me up on Twitter at Chingy Jackpot. Hit me up on Instagram at The Real Chingy Jack. Hit me up on Facebook, FullDekk Chingy Bailey. And hit me up, ChingyJackpot.com. And I appreciate everybody that support me. I appreciate y'all's support. And go on ChingyJackpot.com and check out Doing the Most, my new single. Check out Damn Girl. Hit up the Rich City Boy MC on Instagram at RCBMC. Hit him up on Instagram. And I'm just here, man. We just grinding, and I appreciate everybody's support.